It was actually very clever on the other attorney's parts. I got an ultimatum, a motion for enforcement that said, pay this $11,000 or go to jail. So it really got to the end of the line for me.
With her back against the wall, Wendy decided to do some digging.
We had gone in and we had obtained some public records from the Ethics Commission. I came to find out, and it is reflected in public documents, that the amicus attorney in our case has relationships with the judge in our case, and she has worked very closely with my ex-husband's attorneys in previous cases. And in fact, my ex-husband's attorneys represented the amicus attorney in a case.
Wendy kept digging.
We found that the amicus attorney in our case was a large campaign contributor to the judge in our case, and the attorneys representing my ex-husband were also large campaign contributors to the judge in our case.
It seems kind of unbelievable to me, but the judge is hearing a case where one of the parties, their attorneys, is a very large campaign contributor.
Sounds like a conflict of interest, doesn't it?
And that wasn't all she found.
If you pull the records from the Texas Ethics Commission, you'll find oftentimes that the attorneys who make the largest contributions to the judges tend to win most of their cases.
Because of all this, Wendy requested a new judge in an effort to get a fair trial. The courts responded by asking another judge to rule on whether there was a conflict of interest regarding the campaign contributions. The other judge heard the case and denied Wendy's request, but made a very interesting speech.
And the judge said, this thing about contributions is as uncomfortable for a judge as any topic you can get on. That's because you folks that are non-lawyers don't contribute to judicial campaigns. And the only way that a judge can run for re-election is to raise money for all those things that cost to get your name before the public. And you know who has the most interest in seeing that done? The lawyers.
And if we read on, he says the lawyers only contribute to good judges. So what does it mean to be a good judge in the eyes of a lawyer? Perhaps it means seeing things their way. Some lawyers even boast that they can control the outcome of a case.
They have it now where $300,000 to $400,000 will guarantee the outcome.
Amazingly, these same judges are also the ones who approve the bills of all the court professionals who work on your case.
We talk about who are the most ferocious or feared collectors, and often you hear things like the IRS, right? Well, on that list, near the top of the list, and the most fearsome would be the courts. And the reason is they have a lot of extra legal tools.
There's very few businesses in America where you can sit back and a judge sends you the business and a judge collects your money for you. And that money gets to you for sure. And the beauty of this is all they got to do is get in good with the judges.
And campaign contributions are just one of many incentives that are used to influence judges.
They have a family law section of the Los Angeles County Bar that's very active, that puts on programs. Some judges will sit on that executive committee from time to time. Judges will be in all the programs that they present. You work together with them on panels, on presentations. So there's a lot of contact and communication, and you see these same lawyers all the time.
The law firms have created conferences, all expense-paid trips, and even awards that they give to the judges. And these activities are often sponsored by the same lawyers who present cases to these judges.
I love my lawyers, and I'm very, very happy to say that I was awarded by both the plaintiff's bar, when they have their annual convention, the expenses paid, and I was awarded by the defense bar. Boy, their trip was to Spain. That was, and we had two judges along there. I just was very close with the vast majority of my lawyers, and it was no conflict whatsoever.
But these are small potatoes compared to the largest incentives for judges. When a judge goes into retirement, they not only get a generous pension, but they also have the option to continue practicing privately as a judge or as a lawyer. Law firms often hire the retired judges to rule on cases outside the court, and the law firm's pay is exponentially higher than what they were paid by the government. So guess which judges get hired most often to work for these law firms?
And of course, some of the judges, it's interesting, is that a lot of them are millionaires too. I mean, how about that for a thought? You guys ever thought about that?
Many civil judges nowadays go into arbitrations and mediations afterwards.
I'm seeing the same lawyers that I saw when I was sitting on the bench.
What we try to do is go to retired judges, pay them their hourly rate, and have them hear our cases.
I charge $500 an hour. There's some people who charge $400, some people who charge $600. My fee is $500.
And unlike other public officials, judges do not have a waiting period between public and private practice. A judge can retire one day, practice as an attorney the next day, and then go back to being a pro tem judge a day later. Amazingly, your opposing attorney could literally have been serving as a judge the day before, having had lunch with the same judge you're sitting in front of today. With all this happening behind the scenes, it begs the question, is anyone actually getting a fair trial in family court?